Welcome back to Caption Media. The recently released film Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse will be the subject of today's review. Without giving away any significant spoilers, let's first take a look at the box office figures before giving you your non-spoiler review. With a current global gross of $489.3 million and a $27.6 million international weekend through June the 18th, the animated super sequel is just shy of reaching $500 million. To date, foreign box office receipts for Across the Spider-Verse total $209 million. This is another subversive superhero classic, a masterpiece on every level. It has been produced by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. It delivers a story with both intimate and sweeping implications and has animation that is truly revolutionary. More control, more responsibilities, more everything sums up this sequel. Into the Spider-Verse proves that everything works. Every frame of this follow-up is visually stunning and impressive. The web slinger is elevated to a new level, in my opinion, by a stunning animated story. It is, I must confess, a superb piece of art that advances the genre. With its distinctive fusion of artistic genres, clever humour and meta-criticism on the larger Spider-Man brand, the first film impressed moviegoers. The COVID-19 epidemic and the decision to split the sequel into two parts, Across the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse, which is coming out sometime next year, this caused some rearranging and delays to the sequel, which has been in the works since the original film came out. But the long-awaited follow-up is now finally here. This new animated masterpiece, the first of a two-part sequel, aims to change the course of animation. To put it simply, it's unlike anything you've ever seen. I agree that Miles' presentation of a complete idiotic bad guy as the villain of the week will have a big impact. The villain was developed using the butterfly effect from the first film, and I liked how it foreshadowed the sequel and connected back to Miles. The full implications, though, of this butterfly effect won't be understood until the suspenseful conclusion. Character building is heavily emphasised in the opening 45 minutes or so of the film, including a fantastic prelude with Gwen Stacy, and I believe it makes the film stronger overall. The cliffhanger ending is subtly built upon, and the emotional stakes that will motivate Miles in the sequel are also brought up. But before switching in time with Spider-Man's time in the multiverse, it's good to spend time with Miles, the smart but struggling youngster, and Gwen in their own universe. When compared to the original, sequels can feel like money grabs. I'm pleased to say that in regards to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, not only has lightning struck once more, but there might even be more electricity in the bottle. There is amazing comic book action and poignant, in-depth character moments are masterfully balanced in this wonderful film. When Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse debuted in 2018, it was undoubtedly innovative. It set a new standard for what animated films and even superhero movies could achieve with its comic book-inspired animation style, heartwarming tale and sympathetic characters. The Mitchells vs. the Machines and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish are two of the outstanding animated films that have followed in Miles Morales' footsteps since that time. To surpass already high expectations is quite another thing altogether, from producing something with long-lasting significance. We're happy to report that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse web swings over the bar with practice ease in a media landscape that's so overrun with pointless reboots and lackluster sequels. It expands the world and its characters, raises the stakes in almost every way, and beautifully echoes the themes of the first film. Not only that, but the film evolves its tone and becomes a lot darker than expected. I would dare to say that this is the Empire Strikes Back of the Spider-Verse films. It's hard to find anything I didn't like in the film. I could talk all day about how amazing this film is, but it isn't all good. For one thing, it's very long. At 140 minutes, it's officially the longest studio animated film in the Western Hemisphere. But this isn't a major issue for a film that is so good. The stakes are raised practically everywhere. The setting and its characters are expanded, and the concepts of the first movie are masterfully echoed. In addition, the film's tone changes and gets much darker than anticipated. However, certain parts felt a little drawn out, particularly the unusually protracted opening sections. Some of the characters, particularly Miguel O'Hara from Spider-Man 2099, felt a little undeveloped. He was a beast from the first minute of his performance to the very end, but it seemed like we never progressed with him after that. His setup and introduction were excellent. It seemed like they could have done more with Miguel O'Hara's story, given the complexity of the character and Oscar Isaac's great talent as his voice actor. The story of Spider-Man involves not giving up. Its most captivating storytelling occurs here, a champion who never quits and respects the price they paid. It's difficult to discuss without creating any spoilers of the movie, but the central themes of sacrifice and responsibility give this superhero film a deeper emotional resonance than the majority of other superhero movies ever actually manage. It was a little disappointing that so much of the movie seemed to be setting up the next one, but I won't lie, I'm quite eager to find out what happens next. So, they were successful. It is immediately apparent from the start of the film that visually, Across the Spider-Verse is in a league of its own. The follow-up is right away more colourful, comical and adventurous in all the right ways. With so many blink and you'll miss it moments, you won't want to take your eyes off the screen. It is clear how much unrestrained imagination and care went into each frame of animation. A breathtakingly amazing screenplay transforms the movie into an immersive experience that takes the audience to wide-ranging, imagined worlds. The film successfully strikes a balance between dazzling artistic innovation and ambitious multi-tiered storytelling. The film talks eloquently about ideas like identity, obligation, evolution, and the mixed feelings of joy and dread that come with loving someone. Some of the most beautiful animation ever created for a movie is currently on show, in my opinion. For a hazy, zappy, and psychedelic grand impact, the most recent computer-generated visuals are mixed with conventional comic book drawing techniques. The flick demonstrates that it's almost as competent as the original, which is regarded as maybe the greatest Spider-Man movie and superhero film of all time. The blending of art and fantasy produces an extraordinarily intriguing show. Across the Spider-Verse is a stunning blend of artistic traditions with a deliciously disruptive attitude, taking cues from sources outside the comic book business as varied as abstract expressionism, fairy tales, ballet and punk. The film's creators, led once more by writers-producers Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, overstuff the screen with visuals to the point that occasionally it does become overwhelming, but this is in the greatest possible way. The movie is full of the excitement of discovery and emotional generosity that define Into the Spider-Verse. It's original, thrilling, funny, chaotic, moving, furious and depressing. Character connection is what holds the movie together, no matter how spectacular the action scenes may be. It is an amazing piece of incredible creativity. Go big or go home, as the saying goes. It raises the bar even higher for what a superhero film, or any animated film of any genre at all, can be, because it excels at both incredible action sequences and it has profound metaphors about what it means to be a superhero, both in-universe and outside of it. Even more than the first movie, Across the Spider-Verse has the impression of being one giant love letter to Spider-Man. The film makes use of the audience's familiarity with the character to present a meta-narrative that makes observations about the series and its lengthy history while never losing sight of the original reasons why fans adore the character. The film demonstrated to us the value of our invented myths and heroes, as well as the necessity of their changeability. The sequel builds on that progression in a creative and exciting way. The sequel is aware that this isn't Spidey's first appearance, and it succeeds in reinterpreting well-known themes. In this film, we get to spend a lot more time with Miles and Gwen and explore identity and responsibility in greater detail via each of their personal narratives. Stepping away from Peter Parker and making room for new Spider people is a choice that works incredibly well, particularly in the context of the Spider-Man fatigue in the cinematic world. Across the Spider-Verse is a stunning spectacle that must undoubtedly be seen in a theatre. In addition to wonderfully designed action sequences that make every scene stunning to look at and exhilarating to watch, Sony Pictures Animation continues to remain masters of the animation craft by developing unique animation styles for each realm revisited. Peter Parker and Spider-Gwen, who are both returning characters, are excellently portrayed by Jake Johnson and Haley Steinfeld, respectively. The movie is a blast, and it will undoubtedly be one of the most popular of the year. It's sincere and full of adventure, yet is even more bold, outlandish, and artistically magnificent than its predecessors. Some of the world's best animators and illustrators are working together at the top of their game. Although it doesn't have the same impact as the original movie, it is unquestionably all that a sequel ought to be. The movie is unquestionably pure imagination at its best. It's a masterwork in animation and superhero comic book culture. It outperforms the original in every respect. This is an important victory for the movie's creators and fans around the world. Overall, the Spider-Verse franchise is still at the top of its game, and we can hardly wait to see how this phenomenal trilogy ends. Just cross your fingers that it won't take us another 5 years to arrive. Take pleasure in this film and have a good one.